1. The hidden cost of a dishonest yes. What if the exact word you are using to keep the peace is the very thing destroying it? Have you ever noticed how heavy a single word can feel? You are standing there, listening to someone ask something of you. Inside, every fiber of your being pulls back. Your chest tightens. A quiet, desperate voice in your mind whispers, "No." But before you even realize what is happening, before you can catch your breath, your mouth opens and says, "Of course, yes, we do this all the time. We do this to avoid conflict. We do this to keep others comfortable. We bend our own truth to fit the shape of their expectations, smiling outwardly while a quiet, heavy exhaustion settles deep inside us. We perform a role, hoping that by giving away our time, our energy, and our spirit, we will earn love, acceptance, or simply a moment of calm. We convince ourselves that it is just easier this way. But here is the truth few people want to face. A dishonest yes is not peace. It is a quiet war against yourself. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the profound nature of inner harmony and the suffering that comes from ignoring our own truth. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism involves right speech. Often, we think of this simply as not speaking falsely to others. But true right speech begins within. It is about not lying to yourself. When you force a yes while your spirit screams no, you create a deep internal fracture. You divide your mind from your heart. You build a false reality based on pretending. And clinging to a false reality is a primary cause of human suffering. Imagine a clear river flowing naturally down a mountainside. This river is your life force, your time, your true capacity. Now, imagine dropping heavy stones into the stream, day after day, trying to force the water to flow in a different direction, just to water someone else's barren field. You build dams where there should be movement. You dig trenches where there should be solid ground. Eventually, the water backs up. The banks overflow. The surrounding earth turns to heavy mud. The river loses its natural grace and clarity, not because it lacked water, but because its flow was forcefully and repeatedly diverted against its true nature. Think about your own daily life. Think of the draining commitments you drag yourself to, the extra work you take on out of guilt, or the relationships where you constantly give more than you have to give. You tell yourself that saying yes is kind. You tell yourself it is the noble, selfless thing to do. But true kindness cannot grow from a seed of resentment. When you agree to something you resent, you are offering the world a hollow gift. Ask yourself, when you say yes out of obligation, who are you really helping? Are you truly giving from a place of love, or are you just running away from the temporary discomfort of speaking your truth? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let the no exist? Pause, breathe, let that sink in. The next time you are asked to cross your own boundary, do not answer immediately. Allow a moment of silence to stand between you and the other person. Observe the frantic, automatic urge to please them. Let that anxious feeling rise, but do not make it your master. You do not have to perform. You do not have to abandon yourself to prove you are a good person. A dishonest yes is a heavy debt you take out against your own peace, and eventually the soul must pay it back. But recognizing this silent betrayal is only the first step, because underneath that automatic yes is an exhausting performance, an endless cycle of trying to manage how everyone else feels. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The burden of endless reassurance. What if the deep exhaustion you feel at the end of the day has nothing to do with what you physically accomplished, but everything to do with the emotional weight you carried? Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. The hardest work we do is often the invisible work of managing how everyone else feels. When you struggle to say no, the problem rarely ends with a simple, reluctant yes. The initial yes is only the beginning of a long, exhausting performance. You do not just agree to the favor, the meeting, or the obligation. You agree to perform the emotion that goes with it. You smile. You soften your voice. You over-explain your reasoning. You try to ensure the other person is not upset, that they feel heard, that they are perfectly comfortable. You pour out your energy to reassure them, while slowly and quietly emptying yourself out. Buddhism reminds us that attachment takes many forms. Often, we think of attachment as clinging to physical things or specific people. But one of the most draining forms of attachment is clinging to the desire to control the inner world of another human being. We believe that if we just say the right words, perform the right way, and offer enough reassurance, we can perfectly control their reaction. We try to manufacture their happiness to guarantee our own safety. But trying to control what is fundamentally uncontrollable is the root of profound suffering. Imagine standing on the shore of a vast, restless ocean. The dark, heavy waves crash loudly against the rocks, representing the shifting moods, expectations, and demands of the people around you. Instead of standing safely on the solid sand and letting the ocean simply be the ocean, you wade out into the freezing, turbulent water. You stretch out your arms. You frantically try to push the waves down with your bare hands. You desperately try to smooth the surface of the sea to make it calm. It is an impossible task. The ocean will do what the ocean does, and by fighting the water, you do not calm the sea. You only drown yourself. Think about your own life. Think about the conversations where you felt a frantic need to over-explain your choices. The long, carefully worded messages you typed out just to justify a very simple decision. The way you twist yourself into knots to make sure a coworker, a family member, or a friend does not feel even a single drop of disappointment. You are standing in the freezing water. You are trying to smooth the ocean. You are performing endless reassurance to soften a reality that is not yours to soften. Ask yourself, how much of your daily energy is spent frantically managing the feelings of other people? What are you so afraid will happen if you simply let them feel upset? Pause, breathe, observe the urge to fix, to explain, to soften. You can be kind without carrying the heavy burden of someone else's emotional reaction. Do your part, then release the outcome. Let the other person have their own experience. Let the waves crash where they may. You do not have to be the shock absorber for the entire world. You are allowed to step out of the water. But stepping back onto the dry sand requires something that feels terrifying to a heart, that is used to pleasing everyone else. It requires the quiet courage to speak plainly, and this is where the next truth begins. 3. The wisdom of the true sentence. What if the most powerful thing you can say is the very thing you are most afraid to speak? Here is a truth that goes against everything we are taught about being kind. True peace does not require 1,000 words of explanation. We have been conditioned to believe that a simple refusal is inherently harsh, so we over-explain. We wrap our reluctance in apologies, complex justifications, and soft white lies. We tell someone we are too busy, that we have a schedule conflict, or that we are feeling unwell. We think that by giving a long list of reasons, we are softening the blow. But in reality, we are just giving the other person room to negotiate. We bury our truth under a mountain of words because we are terrified of the awkward, heavy silence that follows a simple, honest statement. In Buddhist thought, there is profound power in stillness and simplicity. The practice of right speech is not just about avoiding harm, it is about deep clarity. It is speaking from the very center of your being, without adding the heavy baggage of defense, fear, or the desperate desire to control an outcome. A true sentence is empty of performance. It is grounded in the present moment. It simply is. Imagine a room filled with thick, blinding smoke. You are waving your arms frantically, spinning in circles, trying to fan the smoke away. But your desperate, hurried movements only stir the air, making the fog thicker and more suffocating. This is what it feels like when we over-explain, backtrack, and endlessly try to manage someone else's reaction. Now, imagine stopping. You stop waving your arms. You simply walk across the room, unlatch a single window, and push it open. The cool, clean air enters. The smoke begins to clear entirely on its own. A single, true sentence is that open window. It cuts through the heavy confusion, not with force, but with quiet, undeniable clarity. Think about your own life. Think of the text messages you draft, delete, and rewrite 5 different times because you want to decline an invitation without sounding ungrateful. Think of the conversations where you talked in endless circles, hoping the other person would just guess your boundaries so you would not have to state them clearly. By hiding behind excuses, you trap yourself in a maze of your own making. You trade your deep authenticity for a very temporary, fragile comfort. You abandon your own center. Ask yourself, why do you believe your simple truth is not enough? What are you trying to protect when you wrap your honest feelings in endless, nervous apologies? Is it truly their feelings you are protecting, or your own fear of being disliked? Pause, breathe. Let the truth of that settle within you. The next time you must decline a request, step back from the need to perform. Try speaking just one true sentence. I cannot take this on right now. I will not be able to attend. Let the sentence end there. Let the period at the end of the sentence do its job. Do not rush to fill the quiet space that follows. A true sentence holds its own weight. It does not need you to nervously prop it up. It stands firmly on its own. But sitting in the silence after you speak, it can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff. Because when the frantic noise of reassurance finally stops, you are left face to face with the exact fear you have been running from all along. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The fear of disappointing others. What if the disappointment of another person is not a failure, but simply a natural fact of living an honest life? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot be completely true to yourself without occasionally disappointing someone else. For many of us, the mere thought of causing disappointment feels unbearable. It feels like a direct threat to our worth. When someone asks us for a favor, an invitation, or a piece of our time, and we realize we cannot give it, a deep panic sets in. We picture their face falling. We imagine the subtle shift in their tone, the heavy sigh, the quiet distance that might follow. And to avoid that fleeting moment of discomfort, we sacrifice our own peace. We say yes, carrying a heavy, silent resentment, just to keep the image of a perfect, accommodating person alive in their mind. Buddhism teaches us about the profound nature of impermanence. Every emotion, every reaction, every state of mind is like weather. It arises, it stays for a short time, and it passes. When we try to prevent someone else from feeling disappointed, we are trying to stop the weather. We are trying to permanently fix an emotional state that does not belong to us. We forget that disappointment is a natural human experience. It is not a fatal wound. It is simply a passing cloud in the vast sky of another person's mind. Imagine a deep, quiet valley surrounded by ancient mountains. Suddenly, a dark, heavy storm cloud rolls in. The cloud pours rain over the valley, casting heavy shadows on the stone. The mountain does not shrink away from the rain. It does not apologize for its shape, nor does it try to chase the storm away to make the sky comfortable. The mountain simply remains exactly what it is. It holds its ground. It lets the storm happen. And eventually, the storm exhausts itself. The cloud breaks, and the sky naturally clears. Think about your own life. Think about the family gathering you forced yourself to attend when your spirit was running on empty, simply because you could not bear your mother's sigh of letdown. Think of the extra project you accepted at work because you feared your co-workers would think less of you. You are trying to move the mountain to please the storm. You are absorbing their passing weather and making it your permanent reality. But in doing so, you take on a burden that was never yours to carry. Ask yourself, why do you treat someone else's disappointment as an emergency? Are you truly keeping the peace, or are you just avoiding the uncomfortable sensation of being misunderstood? What would happen if you simply let them be disappointed, knowing they are entirely strong enough to survive it? Pause, breathe. The next time you feel the sting of someone else's letdown, do not rush in to fix it. Let the feeling rise in them, and let the discomfort rise in you. Without making it your identity, let them have their weather. You are not responsible for catching every drop of rain that falls from another person's sky. Allowing someone to be temporarily unhappy with you is one of the bravest things you can do for your own peace. Because when you stop managing their emotions, you finally stop abandoning yourself. But to stand firm in that space, you must first understand what you are actually doing when you draw a line. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. A boundary is an act of compassion. What if the walls you are so afraid to build are the very things that make true connection possible? Here is a truth that flips everything we have been taught upside down. Saying no is not an act of rejection. It is an act of deep protection. We have been taught to view boundaries as weapons. We believe that setting a limit means we are shutting people out, being selfish, or acting cold. We fear that if we draw a line, we will isolate ourselves and push love away. So, we leave all the doors and windows of our life wide open. We let everyone walk through our time and energy whenever they please. We believe this total lack of limits is what it means to be a good, accommodating person. But when you offer everything to everyone, what is left for you? Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound nature of loving kindness. But true loving kindness must always include yourself. In Buddhist thought, compassion is not about blind martyrdom. It is about holding space with clarity and wisdom. If you give until you are completely empty, your offering becomes tainted with heavy exhaustion and quiet resentment. A boundary is not an aggressive wall meant to keep people out. It is a clear perimeter that protects the peace within, so that when you do give, you give from a place of genuine abundance. Imagine a beautiful, ancient garden. Inside this garden grow the most delicate, vibrant flowers, representing your time, your love, and your quiet spirit. If the garden has no fence, anyone can walk right through it. Passers-by will carelessly trample the soft soil. The harsh winds will strip the young branches bare. Soon, the garden is reduced to dry, barren dirt. Now, imagine building a quiet, solid stone wall around this space. You add a sturdy wooden gate. The wall does not hate the outside world. It is not angry at the travelers. It simply protects what is growing inside. Because of the wall, the garden can finally flourish. And when someone is gently invited through the gate, they are met with life and beauty, not a trampled, exhausted field. Think about your own life. Think of the relationships where you feel constantly drained, the friendships that feel entirely one-sided, or the family dynamics where your endless kindness is simply expected. When you refuse to build a fence, you are letting your most sacred inner space be trampled. You tell yourself you are being generous, but you are slowly letting your own garden die. You become bitter, exhausted, and hollow. Ask yourself, are you giving out of true love, or are you giving because you are simply too afraid to build a wall? What would happen if you treated your own energy as something sacred, something deeply worthy of protection? Pause. Breathe. Stop leaving the gate wide open. You are allowed to close the door. You are allowed to say, This is as far as you can go. Setting a boundary is the highest form of self-respect. It is the quiet, powerful declaration that your peace matters just as much as anyone else's. But often, the hardest part of closing that gate is the quiet, lingering fear that if we step back, if we stop carrying the weight of the world, everything around us will fall apart. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. The illusion of being indispensable. What if the world does not actually need you to hold it together? Here is a truth that challenges the deepest, quietest parts of our ego. The belief that everything will fall apart without you is a heavy, exhausting illusion. We often say yes because we genuinely believe we are the only ones who can fix a problem. We look at our family conflicts, our workplace demands, and our friendships, and we convince ourselves that we are the glue holding it all intact. We think, if I do not do this, no one else will. If I step back, it will all collapse. So, we overwork, we overextend, we step in to manage, to plan, and to save the day. We mistake our deep anxiety for absolute necessity, carrying the weight of the universe on our tired shoulders. Buddhism teaches us about the subtle traps of the ego. Often, we think of the ego only in terms of arrogance or pride, but the ego also hides in our exhaustion. It hides in the belief that we are entirely indispensable. Buddhism reminds us of the vast, interconnected web of existence. The universe has a natural rhythm, a flow that existed long before us, and will continue long after. Believing that the world requires our constant, frantic intervention to survive is a deep attachment. It is an attachment to control and a fear of trusting the natural unfolding of life. Imagine a single, weary traveler standing in the middle of a wide, ancient river. The traveler is pushing frantically against the rushing water, sweeping their arms back and forth, entirely convinced that if they stop pushing, the river itself will stop flowing. They are freezing, their muscles are aching, and their spirit is completely drained. But the river does not need the traveler's exhaustion to move. The current has its own immense, natural power. If the traveler simply stops, walks out of the water, and sits on the quiet bank, the river will continue to flow. It will find its way to the ocean, exactly as it always has. Think about your own life. Think of the tasks at work you refuse to delegate because nobody else will do them exactly the way you would. Think of the family drama you constantly mediate, convinced that without your guidance, the relationships will shatter. You are standing in the middle of the river, pushing water. You are driving yourself to the edge of burnout to maintain an illusion. You tell yourself it is duty, but deep down, being needed is often how you measure your worth. You are secretly afraid that if you stop doing everything for everyone, you will no longer have value. Ask yourself, are you carrying this heavy burden because it truly needs to be carried, or because holding it makes you feel secure? What would happen if you simply put it down? Would the world truly end, or would others finally learn to carry their own weight? Pause, breathe. Step out of the freezing water. You are allowed to let the world spin without your constant push. You can let others figure things out for themselves. Let life happen without your endless management. You do not have to be the savior of every situation. But when you finally walk out of the river and sit on the quiet bank, you will face something far more intimidating than the rushing water. You will have to sit with the stillness of your own refusal. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. The quiet power of stillness in rejection. What if the most uncomfortable silence you ever experience is actually the sound of your own freedom? Here is a truth that goes against our deepest instincts. The hardest part of saying no is not the word itself. It is the heavy, agonizing stillness that follows. When you finally build the courage to speak your truth, You expect instant relief. Instead, you are often met with a crushing wave of guilt. You send the message declining the invitation. You tell your family member you cannot help them this time. You state your boundary. And then there is silence. In that gap, your mind races. You imagine they are angry. You picture them judging you. The silence feels like a physical weight pressing against your chest. Every instinct screams at you to reach back out, to apologize, to soften the blow, to take it all back just to make the crushing discomfort go away. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the profound practice of sitting with discomfort. In Buddhism, much of our suffering comes not from the negative emotion itself, but from our frantic attempts to escape it. When we feel guilt or fear, we react. We panic. We try to fix the feeling by undoing the very boundary that protects us. But mindfulness teaches us to simply observe the feeling. You do not have to fight the guilt. You do not have to believe the fear. You simply have to let it exist, recognizing that it is temporary. Imagine throwing a heavy stone into a perfectly calm, quiet lake. The moment the stone breaks the water, violent ripples shoot outward. The surface becomes chaotic. Mud is stirred up from the bottom. If you panic and wade into the water, desperately trying to catch the ripples and press them flat with your bare hands, you will only create more chaos. You will stir up more mud. The only way the lake will become clear again is if you stand on the shore and do absolutely nothing. You must let the ripples expand. You must let the mud settle on its own. Think about your own life. Think about that agonizing window of time after you finally stand up for yourself. The guilt feels so intense that you are tempted to betray yourself all over again. You want to wade into the water. You want to send that second text explaining why you said no. You want to perform just one more act of reassurance. But every time you do, you stir the mud. You rob yourself of the opportunity to learn that you can actually survive the discomfort of someone else's displeasure. Ask yourself, what would happen if you just let the silence sit? Are you truly in danger? Or is your mind simply clinging to its old habit of pleasing others? Pause, breathe, let the guilt rise. Let it wash over you without making it your master. Do not follow the urge to fix it. Just stand on the shore. Let the heavy ripples of their disappointment and your own guilt expand and fade. The discomfort will pass. It always does. Enduring this stillness is the quiet price of admission to a truly peaceful life. Because when the mud finally settles and the frantic noise of guilt fades away, you are left with something beautiful. You are left with yourself. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Returning to your true center. What if the peace you have been desperately searching for has been waiting for you all along, hidden just beneath your fear of saying no? We began this journey by looking at the quiet, agonizing cost of a dishonest yes. We saw how easily we abandon ourselves in the desperate hope of keeping everyone else comfortable. We trade our deepest inner harmony for a fragile, temporary illusion of control. We wade into the freezing ocean to fight the waves. We drain our own gardens, and we carry the heavy weight of the sky on our tired shoulders. We perform a flawless, exhausting character, completely forgetting who we actually are beneath the mask. But as you have seen, this performance is not required for your survival. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that true peace is never found by altering yourself to fit the shifting demands of the external world. Peace is not something you chase. It is something you uncover when you finally stop fighting your own truth. Beneath the frantic urge to please, beneath the heavy, uncomfortable silence of setting a boundary, there is a quiet, unshakable center. This is your true nature. It is whole. It is complete. It does not need to be earned, and it certainly does not need to be validated by someone else's convenience. Imagine a small, quiet bird that has lived its entire life inside a cage. Every day, the bird sings exactly the song its captors want to hear, believing that if it ever stops singing, it will not survive. It flutters frantically against the metal bars, entirely exhausted but terrified to rest. But one day, the bird stops. It becomes completely still. And in that quiet stillness, the bird looks closely side at the cage and realizes something profound. There is no lock. The door has always been wide open. The only thing keeping the bird inside is the habit of its own fear. For so long, you have lived in the cage of endless reassurance. You believed you had to sing the perfect song, saying the perfect yes, offering the perfect apology, smoothing over every tiny drop of disappointment just to be worthy of space in this world. You thought the cage was keeping you safe, when in reality, it was only keeping you exhausted. But the door is open. You do not have to perform anymore. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you finally stopped abandoning yourself? What if you trusted that you are entirely worthy of love and connection, even when your answer is no? What if you finally realized that your only true obligation in this life is to remain deeply and authentically aligned with your own spirit? Pause, breathe, feel the quiet strength returning to your body. You no longer have to carry the heavy weight of everyone else's weather. You can let the world spin without your frantic management. You can step out of the rushing water, sit on the quiet bank, and finally catch your breath. You can speak one simple, true sentence and simply let it stand in the silence. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.